What's up, guys? We are back at Columbia Auto Service with another video. Today we have a 2018 Ford F150. It's got almost 100,000 miles on it, about 98,000 miles on it. Customer came in, maybe it was last week or the week before, with noise in his belt area. Wanted me to change out the tensioners in the belt. Well, I didn't hear the noise. I told him I'd go ahead and do it. He didn't ask me to diagnose it. He just told me that's what it was to change it. So I changed the AC belt tensioner, the dry belt tensioner, and there's that little idler pulley on the AC belt system. So we changed it out also. Well, as soon as we got them changed out and got it back going, that new tension on all this stuff made his noise come back, and it was pretty loud. Well, it was the water pump. So anyway, it's a good maintenance item for him to go ahead and change his belts and tensioners and pulleys and all, but I wish we would have heard the noise first and been able to get his water pump done while we were in there. So today, we're gonna go ahead and change out the water pump on this truck. Before we get started though, we're gonna make sure we get his belts pulled off. He got brand new belts. We don't want to get any antifreeze of any kind on them belts. So we'll take them off. We're going to loosen the pulley on the pump first, and then we're going to take the belts off before we ever drain the coolant. Because if you get a little bit of coolant on a dry belt, you can try to wash it off right when it happens, and you might be successful. But if you don't wash it off and it keeps that coolant on that belt's going to have a chirp the rest of its life, especially at a cold startup. It's going to chip, 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 chip. And you won't get rid of it until you change the belt. So since we got brand new belts on it, that's one thing I need to make sure I do, is not get any coolant on these brand new belts. But anyway, I would like to hear the noise again. I've had it sitting here running for a minute, but I don't hear it. It's not making noise this morning. Anyway, the water pump's somewhere right down there. Right behind this hose right here. It acts like it's trying to do it a little bit, maybe. Yeah, I don't hear it. But after we got the belts and all changed last time, we did hear it making the noise, and we pretty well determined that it was going to be that water pump. So he wants to go ahead and change the water pump, so that's what we're going to do. Let's see if we can get started. And it's easier to get the belts off from the bottom with all these hoses and everything on it, so I think before we do anything, we'll just go ahead and get it up in the air, break the pulley bolts, and then take our belts off. And then we'll let it back down and start getting all this coolant stuff out of the way. After we'll drain the coolant while we got it in there. All right, we got it in there. We'll go ahead and back out these pulley bolts. Right, that's the water pump right there. We'll go ahead and just loosen these pulley bolts while the belt's holding tension on it. And then we'll take, you can't see it, but it's behind this hose, the tensioner for this belt right here. We'll take the tension off it, take that belt off, and then the tensioner for the AC belts over here, we'll take the tension off it and take that belt off, so none of our coolant gets on our belts. All right, we'll get them down, get them pushed way over here out of the way so we don't get no chance of getting antifreeze on. All right, now we'll go ahead and get our pulley off. And I think I'll drain the coolant right here because that's part of the water pump. I'll drain it there right now, and then when I take the water pump off, the rest of it will drain out. The less of these fittings and hoses I have to take off, the better off I am, because anytime you break something original that's loose, you make the possibility of a new leak. So if we don't have to take it off, we won't take it off. All right, I got my eye. Okay, we're ready to start getting some of this stuff out of our way. Now for sure we're gonna get this air tube out of the way. And in the service manual it says to move this Degas bottle. I could probably get by without moving it, but for the sake of vision and y'all being able to see, I'm gonna move this, lay it over here out of the way. We'll get this out of the way, then we'll get down there to our water pump. So it's gonna go pretty quick for y'all. So here we go. Degas bottle, there's a clamp down here, but it'll probably be better to take it off down here, but this got to come off anyway rather than taking it off on the bottle, and it's going to drain it. Now it should be ready to come off of there with a little gentle persuasion, maybe. I know it's hot. Oh, it's hot because I was sitting there letting it run, trying to hear the noise. Ow. Come on, now what? Huh. Oh, I got it hung up. Mm-hmm. All right, let me look, make sure I got all the bolts out of it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There ain't no bolts in there. Oh, it ought to just fall off of there. Or maybe I just need a bigger hammer. Oh yeah, there it is. Bigger hammer, do it every time. All right, there's where the water pump goes. And it's just got an O-ring around it. It seals it off up in here, up the side of it. So we'll inspect this sealing surface right here. It feels fine to me. It's hot, but it feels fine. So I'll just take a little piece of emery cloth and clean it out real good, get this outside surface cleaned up, and then we'll get our new water pump and go back together with it. Okay, let's go see if we can find us a water pump. All right, here's our bad water pump. Here's our new water pump. Napa part number 43016. See if it looks anything like that one. How to install. It looks identical to it. You got to swap this neck over to it. And then some of them on these models have a 4-bolt pulley, and some of them have a 3-bolt pulley. You just have to make sure you get which pulley you got, but we got a 3-bolt pulley on this one. So we'll go ahead and just get this neck swapped over. And then it's already got the gasket on it. We'll just put a little bit of lubricating jelly on this gasket. Maybe it'll slide right up in our block real easy. We'll bolt it back down. Put all the accessories back on it, and we'll see what happens. All right, we got it cleaned up, dried up. Got our neck on our water pump. Got a little bit of assembly lube on our gasket, and I put some little assembly lube, but there's a new gasket in the box to change this gasket out. I changed it out. Now we'll see if we can get this rig put back together. It's important when you're putting these clamp style hose clamps back on that you get them right back on the same indentions in the same spot it was at before, so it'll seal off the same way as it was from the factory. Because if you don't, it could create a leak. So you want to be sure you get them back pretty close to the same position. And that's it. All right, I think I got everything put back on from up here. All my hoses are back on, they're lined up right. My air tube's back on, it's tight. The water pump's on there, it's tight. The thermostat housing's back on there with a new gasket, and it's tight. Both of them tubes going to that thermostat housing's tight. All right, the biggest bottle's back on here. It's tightened down. All right, now I think we'll get it back up in the air. We'll get us a water hose and wash all our pulleys off, all the antifreeze off our pulleys. And then we'll put our water pump pulley back on. We'll put our belts on. And then we'll pull a suction on this system and see if we can fill it up with some antifreeze. All right, that ought to be good. Let's put that pulley back on there. What I do with it. Now the AC belt. That tension on the AC belt, the tensioner's got to be loosened up a little bit. Makes it easier to get this belt around behind now. Oh, I forgot how it went on there. I gotta go look at a diagram. All right, that's that short-term memory loss. Tighten the tensioner back up. Half-inch ratchet with an extension to work the AC tensioner. All right, got it back on there. I don't know if y'all can see that. But that's the way it goes. Now we got to put that drive belt on it. You need a 15 millimeter for the accessory drive belt tensioner. All right, now if you get the drive belt back on it, don't forget to go back and tighten up your water pump pulley bolts. That would be unfortunate. AC belt back on it, the tensioner's tight, and got the water pump pulley back on it, the belt on it, the pulley bolt's tight on the water pump. We got all our hoses back on there. One of them's not exactly lined up just right. Let me see if I can get it lined up right so I don't have a leaky. Oh, I don't want no leakage. Oh, right there. All right. Everything else looks good. Go up under here. Now we'll let it down, pull a suction on our cooling system, see if we can get this thing to hold antifreeze. One last check of everything. Make sure I don't have anything left off. I don't have any bolts left over. All my magnet trays are put up and empty. The only thing missing right now is antifreeze and the jug. That line's on, that line's on, that line's on. Those two PCV lines are on. The air tube's back on and tight. Belts are on. I can see them from down here. That hose is back on. I think that's it. I think we are ready for some coolant juice today. Here we're going to try to pull a vacuum on this coolant system, see if we can get all the air out of it. It just makes life a lot easier if you can get all the air out of one of these systems before you try to put antifreeze in it. But sometimes I can't get this thing. There's certain systems this little tool doesn't work just right on. But we're going to try on this one. I got both my hoses here going to my bottle kinked off. And I got that in there. It seems tight. Let's see what happens. All right, we got a vacuum pulled on our system. It seems to be holding vacuum real good on it. So that's one good indication that we may not have a leak. So we'll go ahead and let our vacuum suck our antifreeze up in there, and that way we won't have any air bubbles. You don't want to suck any air in your bottle. Make sure you keep antifreeze in your jug while you're sucking, because if it sucks air in it, you've defeated the purpose. This is full strength coolant, so we'll put one jug of coolant in it, one jug of water in it, and then another jug of coolant in it if it takes that. I mean, this may be a 4-gallon system. I'm not sure. I didn't look up the specifications on the capacity of it. We'll put it until it's full. And then my jug's starting to get a little low, so I'll turn it off. So fill it back up with water, that way I'm not sucking air. It's like all this gonna hold 2 gallons. Because it's full, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's getting full in my bottle, and my vacuum, my pressure's almost to 0, and I'm almost empty here. So, yeah, it's full, so I think that's good. Maybe a little bit of vacuum left when I take this off. No, that was it. Now I'll do one last inspection of it, and we'll start it up and see what happens. I think we're good. All right, let's see if it's forward to fire back up. Now we want to check, after you do any kind of job with the coolant out of it, to make sure you don't have any air in it, you want to put it on heat. Make sure you're getting heat out of the vents through the heater core. Because if you got air still in the system, you won't be getting no heat. So you want to, how you work this thing. Okay. Both sides are on high. We don't need the air conditioner. I want it to blow fast. Okay, there we go. So we'll let it sit here and run. We'll keep our eye on our temperature gauge. Make sure we got heat coming out of here. And that'll let us know if the temperature gauge looks right and we got heat coming out of here, we should not have an air bubble. And then we'll be ready to go on a test drive in this thing. It's on high heat. I'll be blowing warmer than that. Temperature's almost halfway. It's blowing warm, but it's not blowing hot like it ought to be. So we get the here it comes. So we get that water pump to spin a little faster and get that stuff to circulating through there, and then it gets heating up a lot better. So it may have had a little bit of air and it wasn't circulating through the heater core like it should have been. It's getting warm now. We got warm air now, hot air. Hot air. It wasn't just warm a while ago, now it's hot. The air matches the temperature. I think we're ready for a little test drive. Our temperature's holding steady. Our heat's blowing hot, so I think I can turn this off. It's getting hot in here. Let the window down, get a little fresh air. It's getting stuffy. So I think we're gonna be good on this 2018 Ford water pump replacement. Anyway, we appreciate you for watching. If you would, leave me a comment down below. I'll try to respond to them, try to get some feedback. We'll see you on the next video.